They tell them what's going on, that's how they know what's happening. I'm riding with the top down, trunk full of Yoda. Ghetto pharmaceutical, I move that Coca-Cola. 1,000 grams of Purito, I fuck with the weirdos. It's not away the pain, bang the dope in they vein. Shorty crying Christmas, they coming up, hops locked up. When it hurts the worst, they find out she knocked up. Welfare ain't an option when the feds come knocking. It's all fucked up, so wish me luck.
It's not raining. I had to wash my some bird shit on my window.
Nigga started off as a youngster, iron in arms with me. I am a pharmacy drugstore. Me and my bro, good Lord.
Oh shit.
Mama, pray for us. Oh Lord, we was raised off the good book. Now we in the kitchen with the cookbook. Strap in my lap, no time for the shook look. Fans trying to build a case. Say my face is a
we got a domestic terrorist in back of us.
So we shook to the aim. I know damn well we wasn't raised this way. Now we up, down, pound, up, fuck,
White power. Police. For some reason, the police don't like it when you say white power, but they sure be promoting that shit. How you been though, college kid? Put the cam on them, don't matter. Yeah, no. He was behind me. Exposing, yeah, that's the thing, man. That's the thing. Expose these motherfuckers. Life in the projects, no. Have you considered getting a GoPro body cam? Nah, I don't really like the GoPros. When I first started doing this, when I first started filming them and shit, I had a GoPro. I just don't like them. They're too small, and I can't ever tell. It's been a lot of times when I recorded shit and I couldn't tell I was recording. I don't know if they did some shit, like if it was Wi-Fi, if they did the Wi-Fi shit or tapped into the Wi-Fi, but a lot of the times that I was recording with the GoPro, it the film didn't come out right, the footage didn't come out right. Ever since then, I've been using the phone. The phone is like the best. I've tried a lot of different cameras. The phone is like the best one. My hopes though, if when my money gets right, I want to get one of the body cams that you can, communicate through your phone with, so I can see everything that's going on my phone and actually record it from my phone. So that's the goal right now. But until then, the phone works miracles. It works wonders. So far, over any camera that I've used, the phone is the best. Hey, what's going on? I'm Awaken. I got total hacking and laptop internet. Yeah, the internet. When it comes to shit like that and filming, like if you're like from home and with the laptop and shit, yeah, that's a hard one. I don't even know how dial-up would work on that. My guess, and I'm only guessing, guess dial-up would help better. It'll either help better or help worse. Like they'll even slow make your dial-up slower, or that they might not be able to break into your shit like they can with the the digital bullshit. Oh shit. Oh Lord. Hold on, look up, boy. Oh, let me let these dogs use the bathroom real quick. I'll be back. Gotta leak water, block, can't unblock. Oh wow. Is San Jose a good what I got CCTV mini. It's worth yeah. Yeah, CCTV. It's not good because they can break into your they can definitely break into anything that's smart, fucking all that shit. I got yeah, unblock. I'm being targeted. I have by unblock the water. I don't. I'm gonna look it up on YouTube for you though, Awaken. I'll look it up for YouTube on YouTube. Oh, hold on. Hold on. Right here, Mike. Look. Hold on, Robert. Lady. That one. Go. Come on, scrub it. Go. No. Go. Grab. get harassed by rich people and expensive. Yeah, tell me about it. I mean, the train language group. I didn't get on an underground train. They do the get off the train. It was so obvious they were falling. Yeah, yeah. They can't hide that shit, man. What about it drop? What you doing, doggy? Cut it out. Swear, man, these dogs are like real kids, man. Don't know what to say. Can-U.S. relations. Not really anything to say, bro. We're in a period of domestic terrorism being conducted by a bunch of weirdos. A bunch of numbskulls. One of these days, one of these days, one of these days. Every day they do, don't they? Every fucking day, man. Hey, what's going on, really? Yeah, they shoot to kill, man. I seen this thing. I seen this thing the other day. Well, it wasn't the other day. It was about a few weeks ago. But this dude, this caretaker dude, was walking in one of his handicapped people around. I don't want to sound rude, but he was walking disrespectful. I mean, but he was walking one of his patients, and you know, for some reason, I don't know what the reason was, an officer was yelling at him from up top of like overpass. The cop was raised over the guy, and you know, I guess the dude's like, put your hands up, and he's like, I'm walking. The cop was talking to the mentally ill dude, and they're like, he's mentally ill. He's mentally ill. He doesn't get what you're saying. And the cop was telling the dude, that the caretaker, lift your hands, lift your hands. Dude lifted his hands and still got shot. Like, still fucking got shot. Hands raised up in the air like a motherfucker. Luckily, that officer didn't have very good aim. He shot him in like the leg, in the thigh or some shit. Yeah, luckily that motherfucker didn't have good aim. Or it would have been over for brother, man. It would have been over. The biggest gang in America. You ain't never lied about that one. Isn't on it? They're all a part. Oh yeah, SJPD is definitely a part of it, man. Definitely. Scrap, chill out, bro. Yeah, they're definitely a part of it. You gotta wait, bro. Yeah. The life we live is targeted individuals, ladies and gentlemen. Don't ever underestimate these people. And most of all, don't underestimate yourself. There you go. Have at it. Have at it, doggy. You're not afraid of the police? No, not anymore, bro. I was afraid of going to jail. I didn't want to go to jail. But I'm beyond that shit now. I don't, I'm content with knowing that something's gonna happen to me. Well, I'm not saying I'm content with it, but I expect something to happen to me. Fatal. I expect something fatal to happen to me, so nothing worse can happen than that. Can't get too much worse than fatal. I mean, unless they start fucking torturing me or some shit like that, like, doing some torture shit. But other than that, man, I'm not even worried. They're gonna do what they do, whatever. It gets to a point, man, to where the harassment overpowers the fear. Your anger overpowers anything these motherfuckers could ever think about doing to you. And that's where I'm at now. Of course, I ain't gonna go too far with it and kill people or some shit like that, but I'm gonna take all my energy and put it into exposing these motherfuckers now. And that's the thing. We've been fucking trying to expose these people to hey, what are you doing, dude? Chill out. Too much of the what do you call it? The traditional way. We've been trying to expose them the traditional way, so now it's time to fucking rattle the fucking cage, if you will. Really, a motherfucker can't get mad at you for trying to protect, keep your sanity safe. These motherfuckers stole psychological warfare on us every single day. I'd be damned if I'm gonna go through that shit every single day and not say anything about it. They had a good 9.5, 11, 9.5, 10 years to fucking harass me like a motherfucker. Now it's time fucking, the 11th year. It's time to fucking, well really this is going on the 12th shit. But we'll keep it at 11. I don't even like men to be in this program this long. Good old Mary Jane. Good old Mary Jane. Okay, you're not okay. Are there any support groups for targeted individuals? I guess they do have them like on Facebook, Twitter. I don't too much. I don't do them personally. I don't do the support groups because I don't like the fighting amongst targeted individuals. I don't like targeted individuals talking about and giving. I mean, it's righteously, like, you'll hear people say, "Oh, my targeting is worse," but this, it might be worse, but this isn't a contest. Like, we're all going through some fucked up shit, and when people argue about who's going through it the worst, that just fucking it kills it for me, man. We're supposed to be figuring out ways to get out of this, not figuring out who the fuck is going through it the worst, and almost like a competition of who's going through it the worst. Shit, I appreciate that, college kid. That would be a beautiful thing. But it's not on you, man. It's not on you. Telegram page. I'm not sure. I know what that one is. Manage the Telegram page. Preference on a dream car. Yeah, my dream car is probably not suitable for the lifestyle I'm living right now, but I would say my dream car would be a Grand National. That's my dream car, a Grand National. But Oh, you never seen a Grand National? They look. Um. Yeah. If you. What could be the close? Probably a Riviera. If you ever seen like a Riviera or a Regal, or like a older Cutlass, they're kind of shaped like that, but they're nice. They're Those were like the Hellcats and shit before the Hellcat came out. Those excuse me, that's legitimate. I think I think Grand Nationals and Crown Victorias were like the Hellcat before the Hellcat. Like a Hey, what's going on, soldier? Hanging in there. Hanging in there, bro. Sorry, guys. That's legitimate. Hanging in there. Hey, what's going on, Jay? Before this crap started, I was what? Well, I wasn't a criminal. I was on my way to get off parole. I was actually before this started, I was fucking in jail. I was in prison, and I was waiting to be. I only had like a couple weeks before I got out. Before I got out, and this time when I got out, I was gonna be off parole. So I was there for like 6 months. I was there for like 6 months. So that whole 6 month period, I was planning on like trying because my life was gonna change. I was gonna be off parole. So you know I already made it. Already had it in my head. I wasn't finna fuck with the same people. None of that shit. I was finna. I was actually looking into going to Alaska and doing some of that boat work, fishing and shit. Either that or cleaning and cutting the fish on the dock. I was gonna do that and then come back out here and try and start some type of not nothing major, like some type of internet shit, like selling shit online. And yeah, shit just didn't work out, man. I got out, went home, I called in a few places and shit to well, not called in, but I filled a couple things off online. Applications. I went to a couple spots, filled out some applications. Everybody said they'd get back to me. Nobody got back to me. Actually, one person did get back to me. One person got back to me, but they never got back to me after that. They were supposed to get back to me after that, never did. So yeah. So as I'm sitting waiting on fucking calls to come in on a thing, I started noticing my family. This is my daughter's mom's side of the family. I was staying with them, and so they're starting to act weird and shit. And not so much as it was, well, it was directed at me, but it's not like they were directing it at me and I saw it and I'm like, fucking, what the hell are you guys doing? Like, and they were doing it from like distances, like knocking on walls and slamming kitchen cupboards and shit. And like, you know, one particular family member is slamming fucking the cupboards and shit, yelling at the top of her lungs. Mind you, it's all women in this house. I'm the only male, so it's already, it's natural for me to get the fuck up and see what the fuck is going on. You feel me? So as I run downstairs, I'm like, what the fuck is it? Like, what's happening? What's going on? Oh, no, I'm calling the dog. I'm looking for the dog. I'm like, slamming the cupboards? Why are you slamming the cupboards? What are you talking about? I wasn't slamming any cupboards. That shit tripped me out. That shit tripped me out. Okay, like, what are you, like, pranking me? Are you playing games? But it's crazy because it looked like it wasn't, the way I'm sitting, the way she's looking at me and shit, it's like, she's not joking, and it's almost like she's catching an attitude because, I'm like, are you sure? Like, she's catching an attitude. And, it's a trip, though, because I started second-guessing myself. I started second-guessing myself because I was like, wait, I was partially asleep. Like, when I was laying down and shit. And I had my eyes closed. So I wasn't partially asleep, but I was a little unconscious, if you will. So I was thinking, oh man, maybe I was fucking dreaming. Maybe I was fucking dreaming. And then, I just woke up to her calling the dogs, and it blended in. Like, I was second guessing myself like a motherfucker, man, because I had no reason to think that she would lie to me about fucking slamming cupboards and shit. And it was loud as fuck. I'm way upstairs and I heard this shit. And it's like right under, like, the dining room is right under my room. So the dining room, my room is like, right, right, I'm over the dining room. So it was just super loud. And I'd fucking, and I knew nothing was wrong. I knew. Like, I knew I wasn't, I knew I wasn't crazy, man, but there was a small chance that I could have been, dreaming that shit. So I just fucking played that shit off. Or I didn't play it off. I just went along with it. Really, I thought I fucking, it was a blend in. And it happened again. It was other weird shit. I don't want to get too deep into that shit, but it was just a lot of weird shit going on, and fucking, it got to the point to where, okay, now I know you're doing it. Now I know you're not gonna fucking run this shit on me. Like, now I know you're doing it, and fucking, I'm not gonna argue. It's just like, it's like when you don't want to argue, you try not to argue with the people. Like, this is family, right? And not just, this is like my daughter's mom's side of the family. So, I'm not trying to argue with them or none of that shit. So, the hardest thing in the world is not to argue with somebody and know that they're doing something. You're giving them the benefit of the doubt. It's like you're trying to give them the benefit of the doubt, and you're not crazy, but at the same time, you're fucking, it's like the magnet. Like, you take one magnet and the other side and you flip them and you try and put them together, and you can't get them together for shit. It's like that. You got fucking me knowing that they're doing it, but not wanting to argue with them. And then, you know, when I do confront them, it's on some like respectful. It's like not on how I'm feeling shit. It's like on some respectful, like, damn, you gotta, I mean, you put words together to make them feel like you're not attacking them and shit. You don't want them to think you're attacking them, but you're kind of trying to weasel out like what the fuck is going on. When you know something is going on and they're telling you there's not, is, when it's family and shit. I had to get the fuck out of there, you feel me? Cause I can't, that's toxic as fuck. That's like the most toxic fucking shit. And, that shit right there, like that's the type of shit that it wouldn't make me want to kill a family member, but it would, like, if I was living with them, if I was still over there, if we were still living together and shit, I'd have been in jail. Not because of what I did to one of them, but because of what I did to one of these perps. Like, knowing that they're guiding and directing my family, or, directing them into harassing me and shit. And it's not even that they're doing it, it's that, they're going along with it. Like, I'm gonna wanna fucking get at you because, if you're that fucking, powerful to where you can fucking make family members, with my own fucking daughter fucking doing the hair fucking swish and all that fucking bullshit, doing it real slow though, like real fucking and it's like, man, I'd have been, yeah, one of these people it would be problems. It would be over with for me. I'd be gone. Especially not knowing what I was going through at the time. Especially not knowing what I was going through at the time. Oh my God. Like, finding out this program and finding out what this program is about is what kept me on the streets this long. If I didn't know what this program was, if I was just going through it, I hate to think what would have happened. But I know for sure I want to be right here. I think knowing that the police is a part of it, and me just getting off parole and not wanting to go back to prison, like I literally fucking beat the statistics. Not too many people that get on parole are lucky enough to get off parole. They either fucking, at my age, like I got on parole like around a little after 18. A little after 18 years old. Probably about the end of my 18. And I'm just getting off, like, I'm 43 now, or I'm 44 now, and I got off parole like 11 years ago. So, that was a large fucking portion of my fucking life on parole. So the, not wanting to go back helped a lot. But now it's just like, I don't even give a fuck no more. Like, and that's crazy. But, yeah, where was I? Yeah, so I hopped on the fucking the Greyhound and shot up out here and shit because I couldn't keep going through that shit with the fam. So yeah, here I am, 11 years later, fucking living in a van. Oh fuck. Oh man. But at least I'm fucking living though, right? At least I'm living, so I can't complain about that. Wherever God puts me, whatever position God puts me in, just rock with that shit. You know, it ain't been all that bad. It ain't bad. It ain't as bad as most people think and shit. It's definitely not enough to break you, or it's not gonna break me being out here like this. I could care less really. My only aim now is just to fucking put a dent in this program. I don't have to tear it up. I don't have to rip it apart, but I just want to put a big enough dent in that motherfucker for when they get me out the way, somebody can keep on kicking, take up where I left off at. Just keep kicking that fucking dent in until that motherfucker busts open. Yep, that's where I'm at today. Rolling, man. Let me see. Rolling the Dutch right now. Hell yeah, that's what's up. What prison were you at? Oh shit, I was at my first prison. It was like it was considered a CCF, I believe. Nah, CC County Correctional. Yeah, CCF. It was a privately owned prison, but I guess the people who owned it, they bought a county jail. So it was like a county jail, but it was all prisoners in it. It was in the middle of Kalinga. It was called Kalinga State Prison, but it was like CCF. That's like one of the most that's one of the most lax places that you usually get those on like your first terms. Like if you don't got violence or no shit like that on your jacket, on your first term they'll send you to a CCF. That's like the most lax. That's more laid back than a level 1 yard. Like it's really laxed. I've been to Tracy, Corcoran, San Quentin, let's see where else. Folsom, but that's right next to Tracy, so it's really the same thing, but it's two different prisons. San Fernando Valley. A couple more in the beginning. I can't really. It's been so long, bro. A couple down south. It was like down south prisons. Susanville. It was another one. I can't. There's probably a couple more. I can't. I can't really. Cause when you get violations, and I've been through hell of violations, like violations and shit, like you don't catch a new case, but they'll stop you. Like say for instance, you're walking down the street and the police pull you over, to ask you what you're doing or whatever. You feel me? it being that you're on parole, he has to call your parole officer. And so sometimes, like, my parole officer would be a dick. I get pulled over by the police, and the police call my parole officer and let them know they stopped me or what they stopped me for. And usually it was just, walking, or I'm by myself. I'm walking, looking suspicious and shit. They would say that's their things, looking suspicious, or somebody made a call about suspicion, that type of shit. It's really be lies, but you can't prove that it's a lie. You can't, especially on parole. Like, you have no rights when they pull you over. There's no, I don't want to search. I don't want you searching me, or you don't have no rights. Like, they can fucking search you. They can cuff you, throw you in the back of the car. All that fucking. Your constitution is wiped the fuck out when you're on parole. You don't have nothing coming. Like, you're lucky if the police officer decides to let you go. It's a rare event, because they get that's it. Parolee is the best thing that ever happened to a cop, because they don't have to do no work. All they gotta do is pull you over, call your parole officer. And they don't even gotta call your parole officer. They can take you in, and your parole, write it up and put the your paper. Whenever your parole officer get the paperwork on his desk, that's when he'll holler at you. So it was hella shit like that, bro. It was fucking most, throughout all those years on parole, I probably only caught 2 cases. I only caught 2 cases. One my own case. It was a marijuana case. I was selling weed, and then another case I took for somebody. But all the rest of that shit was just violations. Violations. Saying all that to say, they send you to hella different places. Sometimes you could do like 6 or 7 months in the county jail and shit. It just depends on how packed the fucking prisons are, or whatever. I'm just glad I'm not in it. I don't ever want to be tied up in that shit again, man, because, bro, most of the time you do is not even for the case you catch. It's just for bullshit, like the fucking police pulling you over. Oh, that's 6 months. My parole officer walks in, does a house check on me, walks through my house and shit, sees a fucking TV hanging on the wall. This is when fucking the plasma TVs just came out. And he's fucking doing a home search or a home check on me, making sure everything is straight. You feel me? And he sees the fucking TV hanging on the wall. Mind you, at the time I'm working for Coca-Cola. I just get the job, and he bullied me. This motherfucker bullied me into getting the job. You feel me? Basically telling me, well, if you don't get a job, you feel me? We're gonna have to violate you and shit. It's like, how the fuck can you violate me for not having a job? Motherfuckers ain't hiring out here, and plus I got a jacket on me, motherfucker. I got a jacket on me. How you expect me to get a job? So, saying all that, I mean, after all this shit, my daughter's mom's mom, so my daughter's grandmother helps me fucking, cause she's a family lawyer. Like, she helps people get their children back and shit, or like, fight for custody of their children. And fucking, her clients, she got clients that got like good fucking jobs and shit. And she talked to one of her clients, and one of her clients got me that Coca-Cola job and shit. And it was like a real, this was like a fucking job. this was like a fucking job I'd never fucking seen before. You feel me? Like I've done like little car washes and shit like that, janitorial, to where you go interview with like one person and shit. But I went to the interview thinking like I was just gonna go fucking, some dude was gonna fucking interview me and I was gonna get the job. It was like some executive shit. It was like three fucking people in there and all them fucking people asking me questions and shit. What makes you think it? And it's like they're contradicting their you know, I get what they're doing off top, but it's like, you know, one person would ask me one question, and somebody would ask me the same question, but he would ask me in a different way, like totally disguised, to see like if my, you know, they were really examining the shit out of me. And, you know, that's a job that I thought, you know, that's a job that I really wanted to. I thought I was gonna get off parole with that job. Like, I really thought I was finna get off parole. But, you know, it was a good ass fucking job, man. And just because I had a fucking plasma TV on my wall, I had a plasma TV on my wall and a fucking parole officer with a chip on his shoulder for some fucking reason. Probably like, how the fuck does this fucking criminal have a plasma TV? Like, yeah, I still got that fucking jukebox at home. How the fuck does he have a plasma TV? Like, it wasn't really. You could have fucking took that shit. You could have took that shit and left me out of jail, motherfucker. I didn't need that fucking TV. I needed that job. I needed to stay out of jail. But, you know, he ended up violating me for living above my means. A case that, you know, a charge that I've never heard of. I've never heard of that charge. I've never heard of anybody else getting that charge. No one. I asked people, but I was in there and saw it. Like, have you ever caught a case, or you know anybody ever caught a case for living above their means? Like, hell nah, that's not even no fucking case, man. That's some bullshit, man. Yeah, so man, you know, once you go through that type of shit and you get off of it, man, it's a blessing, man. It's a fucking blessing, because they'll tell you that the parole officer's job is to get you off, but that's complete bullshit, because if he was to get everybody on his caseload off of parole, he wouldn't have a fucking job. And they get, you know, they get trinkets and shit like that for, you know, bonuses and shit. If they lock so many people up, like in the system is set like that. The system is set like that because, I mean, and you can tell, like, police have to make certain quotas. I mean, it's understandable. You know, you can't just be bullshitting on the job. Like, you can't just be driving around and shit. It's understandable that you gotta make a certain amount of rest. But, you know, they be putting pressure on the motherfuckers with quotas and shit. You gotta make a certain quota and shit. Some of these police, they just don't give a fuck. They'll pull you over. And especially like if they know that you're a parolee. Like, some of them are dirty, man. Some of them are dirty, man. They're dirty as fuck. And they just pull you over, knowing that, you know, you're gonna make that quota. You're gonna make that quota. Robbing you out of your life. Robbing you out of fucking the precious time you have left on this planet. No one wants to go through that shit. Not double deckers. Are there any support? Okay. I'd like to meet some other TI. Yeah, man, there's some good TIs out there, man. I met a couple good TIs. Well, it's a lot of good TIs on this channel. But like personally, I met a couple good TIs. It's a couple good TIs out there. Few, couple, not couple as in two, but a few, I guess you would say. Not too many, but personally a good 3 or 4. But there's a lot of good TIs on this channel as well, though. If not all of them, if not all TIs, like pretty much every TI on here is solid, man. You're gonna get a couple, you're gonna get a couple fucking infiltrators and shit, and I don't lock down too hard on them. I let them fucking, go until they start getting a little too out of pocket, and then I'll block them. But if they want to talk a little shit, I might as well let them talk shit. You feel me? Coach yourself, train yourself on how to deal with them. How to deal with them on a computer screen. Put yourself through some boot camp. Deal with them on a computer screen so you can better deal with them in the real world, because they're really like your chief handlers and shit like that. They're really like, in my opinion, I would say sissified. And this is no shot at anybody who, maybe homosexual or anything like that, but like a lot of these perps, they're really like, they're like sissies. They're like fucking, I don't know how to put it, man. They have that real fucking like, almost like a little girl when they comment at you and shit. Like their comments and shit, you can tell they're like little, I don't want to even say shit. They're like little kids, man. They're just like little kids, little girls. That's the best way I can describe the computer perps. They're like little girls, and you'll notice it in their fucking comebacks and how they be talking to you and shit. Oh, I make 12 figures. I make. I'm trying to imagine the way they sound, but they be like, "Oh, I got so many figures. I don't need to." But you're sitting here fucking talking shit to a dude. You make all these figures and shit, but like, okay, so you make all these figures. Chief handler. This is chief handler. You make all these figures and shit, but why aren't you out kicking it with some females and shit? Not saying you should be getting used for your money or anything, but you have to be. There has to be something better for you to do with your time, with all those figures that you make, than to fucking be talking shit to a homeless person. I mean, I'll never get it, but you talk shit to everybody, man. The chief handler talks shit to everybody, but it's just like this dude. He's like a little girl. He's like a real live little girl. you know, if I had to really put my foot down on the opinion, I would say he sounds like a lying little girl. A little girl that lies a lot. Because nobody that makes 6, 7 figures or whatever, how many figures he says he makes, is gonna fucking be sitting on a computer all day. Not just with me, but plenty of other targeted, unless that's his job and he's working for the CIA or some shit like that. But nobody that makes that money, you wouldn't have that much time to be on the computer, first of all. Like, you'd be fucking too busy, you know, taking care of business or what have you. Unless, of course, you're fucking, you know, came into some type of settlement or inheritance. But yeah, they're really like little girls. So you can, you know, it's almost like you can train yourself on how to deal with them from behind a computer screen. So that's why I let them do what they do. You can always tell, and you I shouldn't say this because that really take it to heart. Oh man, there's another group of people. They have this real sassy way, almost like they're cocky fucking. They're like cocky little girls. But you can always tell when you're talking to one of them on the computer as well, in the comment section. Excuse me, that's legitimate. You can always tell when it's them. Yep. Unless we're being tortured, you know. Unless we're being tortured or something like that. Yeah. Life don't get too much worse than this. I mean, it can get devastating and shit like that, but as ongoing as this targeting goes, you know, you gotta be very aware of people around you. Keep them at a distance, if you will, but you know, all the electronic weapons they hit us with, surveillance, harassment, psychological warfare. It don't get too much worse than what we're going through. I'm talking about as far as the path that the journey that we've been forced to, you know, deal with. And as horrible, as horrendous, as scumbaggish as this shit is, man, there's somebody out there on a whole different journey, way worse than this one. Locked up in somebody's fucking, you know, somewhere out there. There's a little 8-year-old somebody's fucking U-Haul or fucking van or fucking semi-truck. Just got kidnapped from her parents. And all she knows is the people in the front seat of that van or that fucking vehicle that's fucking holding her hostage. All she knows is she can hear people, but she doesn't understand the language that they're speaking. They're speaking a whole different fucking language. And that's where her fucking journey begins. And there's a whole lot more worse journeys out there. There's a lot of journeys that we've been lucky enough to fucking bypass. We just happen to get caught up in this one. Which is fucked up. But it is what it is. You know, out of all the shit, which is crazy to me, out of all the shit that people were talking about Trump, nobody really ever said anything about him saving those fucking kids, man. Nobody ever fucking said anything. Like, they were so blinded by whatever fucking fantasy they had in their head about Trump being a racist and Biden not being one. Oh man, they didn't even look at the bigger picture, man. They didn't even look at the bigger picture. Trump gave people more money. I didn't even get none of that shit. But just because I didn't get it doesn't mean, you know, it was by my own fucking, like, you know, they were running me through too many fucking bullshit loops and shit. But that still doesn't, you know, because I didn't get it, doesn't mean I'm not gonna recognize that fucking Trump gave fucking people more money. You know, more fucking, I'm not gonna say nobody worked for their money, because all that money is basically like your taxes back and shit. Like, all the fucking, like, we shouldn't be paying taxes, so, you know, that's rightfully given money. But at the same time, you know, it's just they don't do that. So for him to fucking do that, you know, yeah, I don't know. I haven't heard anything. I heard that shit was supposed to be coming back, but I haven't seen it. Not the way that they're talking. You know, I think if Biden, or I don't even think if Obama was president, Biden or Obama would have just gave us money like that. They probably got to do it. They're probably going to do it now because Trump is already, but, you know, they're going to weasel their way out of it. You know, they're gonna fucking weasel. They're gonna weasel their way out of it. But saying all that to say, man, you know, people, just like they say, God works in mysterious ways. People work in mysterious ways as well, man. Humans work in mysterious ways, man. There's a lot of mysterious shit going on with people that I don't understand. There's probably a lot of mysterious shit going on about me that they don't understand, but you know, these are some mysterious motherfuckers, man. Very mysterious, unearthly fucking beings. People who have orgies to your fucking pain and suffering, and look at that bullshit. Flying that toilet paper. That's it. I want somebody to feel left out. Nobody feels left out. He probably gonna come around here. I want him to come around here. I think he's finna come around here. I'm telling him to get that toilet paper off the back of his truck. You got some toilet paper flying on the back of your truck, buddy. Oh, I hate these people, man. $60 days. What did you do? If you, oh, it was never nothing serious, man. All my cases were behind drugs. Well, I guess you could consider it serious, but not as serious as some of the charges be. Not none of that fucking weird shit either. They pay people to go to, yeah, you know, usually like you'll be like that shit that you be seeing on TV and shit. I don't know, maybe that shit some like down south or like, you know, in a different, you know, state. But the way it is out here, man, or in California, like you're gonna, you know, the only time that you're gonna fall victim to one of those type of fucking weirdos. I mean, you know, there's just some unwritten rules that everybody knows and everybody follows. And the number one thing is like you don't ask a bunch of fucking questions, especially personal ones. Especially if you don't know the person. You know, in a jail setting, this is in a jail or prison setting. You don't ask a person about their case unless that person decides, like, you know, he wants to say, if anything, you know, you'll ask them like, what'd you get locked up for? That type of shit is cool. But to fucking start digging down deep and did you really do it? And all that shit, you don't do. You don't fucking do that. You know, so that's a red flag. A motherfucker just, there's cards and shit. They have cards and shit, and like, yeah, everything is pretty much card wise. Like, so you got Crips and you got. It's not like one black person. They're gonna send a black person in there to watch all the blacks. It's not gonna work like that because they have cards and shit. So you got Crips, you got Bloods, you got BGF, you got Kumi, you got fucking. That's why I say I don't the other where they did those prison shows and shit. Like I know, like, cause I watched those too. I've watched those too, and I'll be like, what the fuck? But they'll send they'll send somebody in there, and he'll be cool with everybody. He'll just fucking talk to everybody and shit, and they're all fucking. And then it's even the politics on those TV shows is the politics is a whole different setting and shit. Like the politics out here in prison and jail, everything's separated by gangs and race. Gangs are prison gangs and race. So everything's kind of, you can't just send somebody in there to fucking, you if he starts hanging too close to one to one card, they're gonna be like, what the fuck is this? Like, we don't know who the fuck this dude is. Like, yeah, it's kind of different in there. But yeah, they do. Like in the county jail though, like they'll send somebody in there with like a wire, cause it's too many in the county. Like in the beginning, before you get processed and you're actually doing your time, you go to the, what is it called? You go to the reception floor where they ask you all the questions. Have you ever worked for the police, or are you scared of anybody? Do you have a problem in here? Is there a reason why you need to be protected? And all that bullshit. What do you claim? Like what gang are you in? Orientation. After that orientation is over, you'll have a problem with that. But you can always, like, during orientation and shit, when you're doing that little 7 or however many days on the orientation floor, they can always send somebody in there in your cell with like a wire and shit. Like, they might not get no information, but they'll be hoping that you speak, like, depending on what your case is, they'll be hoping that you trip up and start talking. But nobody's gonna go in there and start asking you about your case. Or it hasn't been done. I haven't seen it done. People get, it be people up in that motherfucker for some bad shit. So, and I don't even want to think about, some of these people. Some people that be up in there, man, like they, like they put you in a cell to give you something to think about. Selling drugs and all that shit, you could be getting like 5 or 6 years and shit, and that might be stressful, as it might it might be stressful as fuck, but just knowing that there's somebody fucking in the next fucking cell over, or a couple cells over, that fucking got murder, or fucking, happened to be with somebody who fucked up, and shit didn't go as it was planned, and this dude fucked up and shot somebody, so now all of you fucking all of you guys gotta fight this fucking case. And now, it's scumbags It's some scumbags in this fucking world, man. It's some real fucking scumbags in this world, man. So, 5 or 6 people get caught up on one case. While you're in that cell, you gotta worry about who's telling on who, if he's telling on whoever he's telling on. It's so fucked up, man. When they say you do whatever you do by yourself, like, that's a real fucking thing, man, because you never know. I'm not promoting anybody to do anything, but I'm just saying, like, when they say that, like, that's fucking for real, man, because especially don't go with no 5 and 6 fucking people and 7 fucking people, because all it takes is for one person to fuck up. One person to fuck up, and then the police are gonna come with a bunch of head games. Your friend, we already offered your friend the same deal, so you guys are gonna have to fucking oh my god, do you see this shit, bro? Do you see this shit? She just walked this way, and she just turned around with a baby stroller. She just walked from that car right there, and then she fucking just turned around with that baby fucking stroller, and there's not even a baby in there. She picked something up out of that fucking back of her car and just strolled it up here, stopped, looked at me, and turned around and fucking turned around, and now she's heading back to her fucking car. This shit is crazy, man. Why me, man? Don't tell me she's 8. Oh my god, man. Now she's gonna be okay. I see what they're doing. I see what they're doing. She's gonna be walking all the way down there, and then all the way back here, and then all the way down there, and then all the way back. Yeah, Killer Masons, exactly. Definitely. Faith in all possibilities, for sure. It's good money too. You could be on the show. I don't think I caught the show you were talking about. They banned, well, not banned me, but they stopped me from going so far on the thing. Ever notice, Snap, they were mocking you in the old videos on San Jose Street, Masonic hand gestures and face. Oh yeah, they do it. They still do it. They still do it. I be noticing all that shit, bro. It's just like certain things like that type of shit. I don't pay much attention to, because it's too easy to say that that's just a norm, which it is a normal gesture, but it's just too fucking easy for them to fucking this girl is fucking, man, what the hell? Like, these people are crazy, man. Let me see. Oh yeah, I just don't. I don't do too much paying attention to that. It's too easy for them to get around that. try and make you seem crazy. Like, excuse me, that's legitimate. I go for everything that they can't say you're crazy about. They can't say you're crazy, and I try and like the booty bandits, the one headlight bandits, the one tail light bandits. Everything else, I guess, if you focus on them, I think it's like because it's just like the color coding and shit with the cars. Like I won't pay attention to that shit. Like it's already set in my mind that it's too many different fucking people on this fucking planet who like different colors. You know who drive red cars, drive whatever. Now if it's a bunch of yellow cars and shit like that, then okay, yeah. If it's a bunch of white cars, yeah. If a bunch of red cars, like if they're all together going and shit, then yeah, I'm a pick up on that. But like if they're just fucking color coding, like two red cars here, white car there, like I'm not even paying attention to that shit. And that's what they want you to do. Like I think they want you to pay attention to their fucking. It's like they throw smoke and mirrors out there, and then they throw the serious fucking trigger harassment and shit. The smoke and mirrors is the fucking head wiping, the sneezing, the coughing, and all that shit. And then usually when you try and get that, you're a little bit too late anyways, unless the camera's already going. So it does make you look crazy because, you know, sometimes you'll be like, see, she coughed, and the lady ain't even doing shit. She's just looking there, looking normal and shit. And then sometimes they'll try and disguise it with acting like they're fucking, just so fucking, what would you say? They've been humiliated so much that they've been humiliated so much that they just have to scoff, if you will. That type of shit. That type of shit. It's 54,000 payout if you make it through the whole season of episodes. What you talking about? What you talking about, college kid? What the fuck? It's so annoying how family get interviewed. Oh yeah. Hell yeah. You know, and the thing is, bro, you know, I don't wanna deter you about how you feel about your family, bro. But for me, you know, other than my mom, 'cause my mom has some issues upstairs. You feel me? So I you know, I give her credit for that, if you will. And but you know, all my other family members that partake in this shit, bro. You know, other than, you know, my younger one. Like, I'm gonna always love them, but it's gonna be from a distance. Like, the only reason I love him is because of blood. Like, if there was no bond, I don't care how long I've known him or any of that shit. If there was no blood, look at the one tell, like, if there was no blood bond, you know, it'd be really fucking bad. That's his little perp right there walking across the street. It'd be, you know, but being that they're family and shit, like, I still love them. I probably still, you know, like a dummy, I probably still come to their defense. But as far as being, you know, Thanksgiving get-togethers and Christmas and all that shit, you won't be seeing me. And that's just the way I gotta keep it, just to keep my sanity. Like, if this program was over with, I wouldn't be able to fucking, if they completely got rid of this program, wiped it out, I would not be able to go and chill with any family member, whether they gang stalk me anymore, perp me anymore or not. I would not be able to be around them comfortably, knowing that, you know, all it would take is somebody to fucking come, offer them something, threaten them, or whatever, and they'd be willing to do whatever, you know. The shit that they do to us, in my opinion, is more lethal than a fucking gun, more lethal than a fucking knife. Like, this shit is so fucking dangerous because, you know, when you're playing with the psychology of a person, you don't know where the fuck you're gonna take that person. You don't know. You know, it's too many people that been through too much different shit, and too many people that got different personalities. Everybody ain't the same, you know. Some people are born with a chip on their shoulder. Some people are fucking born with a chip on their shoulder, and you'll never know until you make them explode. You'll never fucking know. You'll fucking be talking shit to somebody, and, you know, just because he let you get away with talking shit to him, like, I've seen it plenty of times in prison. A motherfucker got size on them and everything, and they're fucking talking to people, you know, predominantly talking to people that, you know, look weaker than them, like, aren't as built as them, talking big shit to them and shit, you know, just every time and shit. And then, you know, get on the basketball court, get on the basketball court and make the biggest fucking mistake of your life, fucking thinking you can just push, you foul or do that type of shit to a motherfucker because he's smaller than you, and you've been doing it. You know, you've been verbally doing it. You've been verbally doing it, and he's been letting you get away with it. Like, he's been letting you get away with the verbal bullshit. And then you get on the basketball court with him, and you think you're gonna just push him around. And, you know, you end up getting sat on your motherfucking ass. And then you're feeling stupid and shit, like, wondering, like, damn, man, all I had to do was just leave him alone. No. Oh, and you know that's what they be thinking, man. You know that's what they be thinking. Damn, I should have just got away with the verbal, and I should have just left it alone. Now I'm looking like a dummy. Motherfuckers be embarrassed as fuck, man. Oh, shit, man. Oh, man, here we go. even at that comment yet, but I can already see it coming. Purify misunderstandings, dumbass energies. Hell yeah. Man, a lot of them. It's a lot. You gotta be very aware. That's why I'm saying, like, you can't let, like, you gotta, not just because of the physical shit they can do to you, but just the setting up and shit. Like, sometimes I have my window rolled down, and like I gotta, it's a habit I gotta break out of. Like when I'm sitting in my van, I have my window rolled down and shit. It'd be hot outside though, that's why. So I have my windows rolled, they're lower than my neck. So, it's like down to like where my arm, like, it's, my shoulder appears above the rolled down window. And I gotta quit doing that because, they be coming by my van. Like, they'll walk by my van and they'll see the windows rolled over and they'll fucking stick their hands in my fucking. And then, I'm right, like, they're not trying to steal anything. I'm right here, like, I'm watching my fucking thing, but they'll stick it in my fucking van and then, start moving all fucking, like, fucking demonic and shit, like twitchy and fucking weird shit. And then they'll start looking in their hand and shit, asking me for a cigarette and trying to play it off. And, when they're back there filming that shit, it looks like I'm passing them drugs and shit. So, they're really fucking slick with that bullshit as well. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna keep a cup of piss up here. I'm gonna keep me a cup of piss, and every time one of them motherfuckers come by my van and stick their fucking hands or start doing that weird shit, I'm gonna ask them 3 times to get away from my van. Cause I ask them, I be telling them, man, get away from my van. Get away from the van. And I'd be wanting to pick something up and throw it at him, but I don't want to hurt him and shit. I don't want to fucking hurt him. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep me a cup of piss up here. And every fucking time they come up here with that bullshit, I'm going to ask them 3 times to get away from my van. And then, what comes next. Oh, man. One of these days, ladies and gentlemen, one of these days we shall overcome this bullshit. We shall prevail. That's the hell is it, yeah. I want these motherfuckers exposed. Yeah, me too, bro. Yeah, man, that's the best thing. That's the best thing you can do is just film these fucks, man.